herself somebody else. It will be some kind of older, really rich man.
Tycoon.
Well, an Arab prince.
You watch.
Harry just can't give her anything else anymore. He's served his purpose. His purpose is over, and they're no longer aligned in purpose. So for her, it's time to move on.
A royal show, live on air, and the host says it flat out. I know for a fact there have been meetings with billionaires in Los Angeles. Meetings, not parties, not red carpets, meetings.
Obviously, she can say, well, look, I'm needing professional investment or all of that type of thing. But Burrell's suggestion and your suggestion seems to be also if something romantic presented itself.
She will take her royal kids, who can still go by prince and princess, and find the billionaire, like you say, who actually will just keep her in the manner to which she'd like to become accustomed.
And sitting right there, listening to him say it, is the woman who wrote Prince Harry's biography. She spent 2 years with the man. She still likes him from everything she has ever written about him. And she does not argue with a single word of it. What she says instead is worse.
She doesn't want a pauper. She doesn't want another pauper Angela like Harry. That he's not rich enough for her, okay?
It gets trickier because these billionaires can sense one thing. When you're not looking for a partner, you're looking for a solution.
Meghan has been chasing very rich men for a long time now. Angela Levin says she does not know if they are not interested in Meghan or if Meghan has not fancied them, but she is still hanging on to Harry. And here's the reason given. She cannot find the right person.
I think she's been after people who are extraordinarily rich for quite a long time now. And I don't know whether they're not interested in her or she hasn't fancied them, but she's still hanging on to Harry because she can't find the right person.
Read that again. Not still in love with him, still hanging on. The right one has not turned up yet. Diana's butler had already said it out loud on television. Paul Burrell worked for that woman for 10 years, so he knows how these people behave once the door's shut. It will not be enough for Meghan. She will go off. Her next step is a billionaire.
I think it won't be enough for Meghan and it won't be enough for Harry. And she will just go off and her next step is a billionaire because she's got millions. So why not step up to a billionaire? And why not go for politics? Why not become governor of California?
Then a royal correspondent put the knife in on the same program. Meghan is always thinking about what comes next. She always has a plan. And that plan, in his words, includes her man.
And we know that she is developing friendships, shall we say, with numerous billionaires who could, of course, come in handy for lots of reasons.
Her husband is an item on a to-do list. Now, why this year? Look at what she's married to in 2026. Somebody asked Harry on a podcast what he does for a living. He could not answer. He mumbled something about being a duke, then something about being a prince of England, then stopped. 41 years old.
He is aimless. He doesn't know what he's going to do. I always see him like a kind of well-trained racehorse in the way that he doesn't know what to do outside the tracks. And Montecito is very much outside the tracks.
He took £50,000 to speak at a property conference. When the pair of them first landed in California, he was worth $1 million an appearance. That is the drop. And the family? The king does not want him back, nor does the queen. William and Catherine will not have him either.
Harry came from this very busy world of the royal family with lots to do. Even in his spare time, he could play polo and do whatever he wanted. He sat in Montecito, twiddling his thumbs, thinking, what do I do next? What is my role? Where is my work?
Ingrid Seward has edited a magazine about this lot for 40 years, and she summed his job up in one sentence. Meghan has got to hang on to Harry, she said, for he is her entree. What is she otherwise but a starlet? That was said years ago. The entree, as things stand today, has been eaten. She bought a prince. She is left with a man who cannot say what his job is. Good grief. What do you think a woman like that does next?
And that ridiculous story about how they first met. The whole thing was a tissue of inaccuracies, to be polite, because of course I got the real story that he got a blind date and was called up and all that, and this is the other thing, which is one of the many, many lies she tells, that she arrived in London, full career, single girl, wasn't interested. Of course, she'd been coming to London since 2013, hunting for a man to marry. She wanted an Englishman. She was on a man hunt.
To see where this ends, you have to see how it began. It did not begin with love. It began with a plan, and the plan was years old before Harry had ever heard her name. She came to London That is not my word for it. That is what the people who knew her then say.
Meghan has been blessed and privileged. I'm going to treat people as I would want to be treated. She then turns the other way, which just shows a lack of class.
She didn't
and
like it.
Yeah, you can take the girl out of the gutter, right?
But remember, she was treating people like this before she was in the royal family. That's the thing.
true.
This is part
that
of her
Hollywood?
personality.
A panel of royal watchers went through it this year, and the first name out was a footballer, Ashley Cole. That is who she was after when she landed, they said, long before any prince came into the picture. Then September 2015, 1 o'clock in the morning, a message drops into Piers Morgan's inbox that he never asked for. Well, hello there. Thanks for the follow. Big fan of yours. He kept the screenshot. She sent it. You cannot argue with a timestamp. And then the bit that should have been on every front page and somehow never was.
These pictures that I'm about to show you have been banned from the internet. They were scrubbed, but now they're back. They're finally out there. They couldn't keep these files hidden.
Before she had even met Harry, she said something to her own agent. Tom Bauer put it in his book, and he got it from the woman it was said to. I have Googled Harry. I have gone deeply into his life, not looked him up. She had done proper research on the man before a single date was in the diary. That is not a girl with a crush. That is homework.
She genuinely did get duped in some sort of way. She thought that she was marrying a multi-billionaire. That's how she saw Harry. Unfortunately, the reality of when she came to him, he was living in Frogmore Cottage with his sort of stash and his picked-apart couch. She found very quickly that he, first of all, is not a cash cow. He's got some inheritance. And second of all, he's useless outside of the royal gates and totally useless in America.
Lady Colin Campbell has been round this family for 40 years, and she asked the only question that counts. Would she have been interested in Harry if Harry had not been Prince Harry? Nobody in that studio answered. Nobody needed to. Lady C also does an impression of how the woman does business, and it is the coldest thing I have heard on daytime television. I am not giving away the milk for nothing. I demand something back, what I want, and I get exactly what I want. Then 3 words, said flat. Very transactional. There is one from the acting days that fills in the rest.
Her demands, this director said, were worse than any other actor he had worked with, and he had worked with true A-listers. She would demand private jets if there was not a first-class flight available.
A small production had her filming out in Eastern Europe. She wanted a private jet. The man had to tell her that his little company could not fly her private out of London, and that she was nuts to ask. She thought she was Beyoncé, is how it got told. She was on basic cable at the time. Give over.
And he was like, are you kidding?
Like,
Like,
who
you
are
think
you?
our small production has the ability to fly you on a private jet? Like, you're nuts.
But she
But
thinks,
that's how she
she's
thinks.
Beyonce.
Yeah, yeah,
she
yeah.
thought
does.
she was Beyonce then.
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
then she is a social climber and she wanted to marry.
I just thought this woman is really doing something quite dreadful to Britain, and Harry has fallen in love with her in a ludicrous way and has gone along as her accomplice.
The 19th of May, 2018. Windsor. 600 people in that chapel and the whole world watching. Now have a proper look at who was sitting in the pews.
Her guest list to her wedding showed her real ambition was to be a star in California.
Tom Bauer counted them. Harry's friends were left off. Her Hollywood contacts were all on. Oprah Winfrey, George Clooney, and a row of her own agents. Her agents at a royal wedding.
All my life, you know, and then Oprah Winfrey had met them once. She was a guest. The Clooneys, the guests. I mean, never met them before, but they were the guests. And, you know, I thought to myself, this all showbiz rubbish.
Tina Brown edited Vanity Fair and has never needed to sell a tabloid in her life. She looked at the same list and said something far worse. Those guests, she wrote, were not a picture of the friends Meghan had. They were a picture of the friends she wanted to get. Sit with that a moment. Her wedding day, and she filled a royal chapel with people she had not become friends with yet, the brass neck of it.
Not in a million years did Meghan think that she was going to score Prince Harry. She thought she was going to score Andrew until Fergie put a stop to it.
Andrew Morton has been writing about this family from Diana onwards, and he needed 5 words for the whole business, a networker to her fingertips.
But she had one amazing ability, which was to find a man who needed her.
Oh.
And she played him brilliantly. The actress was sensational.
And it worked. That is the thing. Look at the rungs. 2004, a Los Angeles producer with an address book. 2012, Marcus Anderson, the man who decided who got through the door at Soho House.
This guy has been around all of the time. Isn't that suspicious to you? Because it is for me. It is something strange.
Through him came Jessica Mulroney, whose father-in-law had been Prime Minister of Canada.
When she started on Suits and she befriended Jessica Mulroney, her status changed.
2014, Dublin, and a basic cable actress is sat on a stage as a counselor at One young world, next to Kofi Annan and Bob Geldof and Mary Robinson, a former head of the United Nations. And her, how convenient. 12 years, 7 rungs, One Direction. Draw your own conclusions.
You know, this is what Meghan has been doing. She's a piece of Klingon, you know, like she clings to somebody who can get her there. So Meghan manages to befriend one person of a very popular group, and then that person introduces her to the others. And because that she's being brought in by somebody they trust, she's welcomed in.
And that Meghan was really trying to kick Jessica out of her life is a bit surprising. This was a woman whose children played a prominent role in your wedding just 2 years before. Meghan dumped her and seemingly has never spoken to her, never spoken about her. And the reason, according to reports, that Meghan wanted Jessica out of her life is quite silly, you could say.
Right. So here's the test. If a woman drops people the moment they stop being useful, there ought to be a trail of them behind her. There is. 6, spread over 30 years. Not one of them has ever sat in a room with another.
Jessica was intimately close with the couple, and yet she was unceremoniously kicked out.
Ninaki Pretty was her best friend from the age of 2 and a bridesmaid at the first wedding. What she describes is a shutdown mechanism. Decide you're out, and she goes cold on you. Then the line that cuts a life clean in half. There is Meghan before fame, she says, and there is Meghan after fame.
This is Meghan Markle in 2006 at a Hamptons party where Harvey Weinstein was there. But of course, nobody was mentioning Meghan Markle because she was a nobody.
Lizzie Cundy knew her in London before any of this started. People served a purpose, is how she puts it. Purpose served, on to the next. Millie McIntosh needed 4 words. She cut me dead. Gina Nelthorpe Cowan was never a friend. She was her agent here for 2 years, so she watched it all professionally. Her line is that Meghan made a habit of moving on to better things. But it is the other thing she describes that gets you.
20 years ago, that woman would not be able to marry a working member of the British royal family. Even though she's an actress, even though she's playing a role, that is just beneath the British royal family.
Years later, same room, and she was not acknowledged. It was managed, she says, so that Harry came over and spoke to her instead. Oh, do behave. Nick Eade is a London publicist. He took her to lunch. He got her into rooms she had no way of walking into on her own. And he has his own name for what happened to him after, the Piers Morgan treatment, and Piers Morgan himself.
She has used the British people to make her famous.
She's used the
and
royal
then
family.
and now she's dropped them to keep her relevant. And no wonder she's so hated. And do you know what? It is not going to end well for her. It is not going to end well. And do you know what? I actually get so angry when I think about her. And the way she treated Kate as well.
Who she messaged first at 1 a.m, and who never heard another word out of her after the night she met a prince. She ghosted me, he says. Now, nobody has proved a pattern, and I am not going to stand here pretending they have. Pretty took the ex-husband's side in a divorce. That happens in every town in the country.
Harry was always very insistent in 2017, telling the BBC it was a blind date. All of a sudden, there's a completely new story that they met via Instagram. So which are we meant to believe?
But not only that, can you really believe that photograph of Meghan wearing a droopy nose and things somehow said, oh, that's the woman for me? It's ridiculous. I mean, it was calculated to undermine my book.
Millie has said herself it may have been about a reality show. Morgan has been dining out on this feud for 8 years. All fair enough. But then look at who is still standing there, and it goes cold on you. Doria Ragland, Serena Williams, and Misha Nanu, and Marcus Anderson, the Soho House man who opened every door for her back in 2012, still in the photographs 14 years later. The useful ones stayed. Funny that.
Meghan Markle only becomes prominent for Soho House guys after she starts being on Suits and she's introduced to Marcus Anderson. And then she gets more consistent and more prominent work, okay? Because then she could be in the presence of Marcus Anderson.
That Harry and Meghan face being snubbed from the biggest Hollywood wedding of the year. Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau are set to wed. It's going to be the Hollywood event of the year, perhaps the Hollywood event of the decade. Major political power brokers are going to be there. Every household name in Tinseltown is going to be there. The big stars from the movies. Everyone you can imagine is going to be there. Do you know who's not going to be there, Mark? Harry and Meghan.
Here's the part nobody tells you, and it's the funniest thing in this whole story. She has spent 20 years climbing. This year, somebody took the ladder away. Start with the Met Gala, the biggest night in fashion, the one room every woman in her business wants to be photographed in. Meghan was not invited, not seated at the back, not put on a side table by the kitchens. Not there at all.
I mean, she doesn't care about her reputation, does she? Or does she think that the Duchess of Sussex title can take on anything and nothing's going to happen to it? That title, it's already devalued, depreciated, and valued completely. How embarrassing. And no, Meghan Markle doesn't have a model body.
Anna Wintour runs that night, and Anna Wintour does not want her. That is one bridge burnt, and it stings, that one. Ingrid Seward explained exactly why on air. Meghan needs the kudos of being seen there. It would up her rate. A magazine editor talking about a duchess in the language of a booking agent.
You think this is a big victory, and that somehow all of the stories, which are factual, which is that Netflix has dumped your because Was Never is the worst lifestyle brand in the history of lifestyle brands. Because what was that show called? I can't even remember. With Love Meghan was the worst piece of lifestyle TV programming in the history of lifestyle TV programming. And the fact that they even unfollowed you, Ted included, on social media.
The reason is simple enough. Everything that woman wears on a walkabout is for sale by tea time, and the only thing shifting any of it is the 2 words in front of her name. Now the second one, and you are going to enjoy this.
They are not friends with Ms. Markle at all. The friendship is between Meghan and their mother.
They're not going to be at the Grammys, they're not going to be at the Oscars, they're not going to be at private parties, because when anything goes wrong, whenever there's a little bit of a conversation to have, these two lash out and blame.
The Met Gala is sponsored these days by Jeff and Lauren Bezos. And Lauren Sanchez Bezos tried to be Meghan's friend years ago, back when nobody was refusing that woman anything, kept inviting her to things. Meghan snubbed her, and Meghan was reported to have called the woman trashy, the wife of the richest man alive.
It's just so wrong to do what she's doing. She has nothing to stand on her own. You know, she doesn't have her own talent, her own way of just making it herself. I mean, my goodness, you married the prince, okay? Can you just try to do something on your own now? And now you're just, going into the family, his dead mother now. Just is so bad. I can't understand why Harry hasn't already made a move by now, because it's only going to get worse from here. It gets worse.
People do not forget a thing like that, and Lauren stepped back and left her to it. So the woman who was supposedly out hunting billionaires has insulted the one billionaire's wife who was holding the door open for her. You couldn't make it up. Then the Kardashians, who fell out with the pair of them last year over Kris Jenner's 70th. Elton John and David Furnish, close as anything once, gone cold. The Obamas, the Clooneys, and Oprah, Gwyneth Paltrow. This couple pick famous people up and then they lose them. And the reason given on air is brutal.
Your daddy's dying and you're putting broccoli dip or whatever the rubbish that is. There's the priorities of this woman. What's wrong with her?
Those celebrities never needed her. The minute she irritates them, they drop her, as nobody wants a photograph of themselves standing next to a woman that unpopular. Want the proof? Her own Netflix series. A full production, a huge budget, and not one household name came through that kitchen door. No Elton, not one Obama. No Clooneys, and not even Serena. The biggest name she could get was Chrissy Teigen. So look at where she really is.
I have no sympathy. Yes, she should give up. She should give up because she sold the world a pup. None of us buy in to what she is selling. And also she's just really goddamn terrible at it.
Meetings with billionaires in Los Angeles and not a billionaire's wife in America will take her call. She never misses a chance to make a connection. As Lady C puts it, there is a moment from Jamaica years back, where she walked up to a group of complete strangers at a private club and introduced herself.
Meghan, when she was in Jamaica, for instance, with Harry, they were followed around by a camera crew. I know this because friends of mine saw them at trial and actually phoned me up before being public.
They had no idea who she was. They rang a friend of Lady C's afterwards, completely baffled.
So you never believe who just said hello to me. I said, who? Oh, Meghan.
Who on earth was that? Very rich people were standing there? That was the whole of the reason. Not at a summit, not at a gala. On holiday, in the sunshine, with her boyfriend.
I said, do you know her? No, she said, she just came up to us because, she thought, oh, we're at trial and we're with very rich grand people. So she never misses an opportunity to make a connection.
Do you think that potentially Meghan is starting to realise Harry is not all that and she's going to have to go her own way and pursue a sort of Jeff Bezos type of character for the dreams that she wants to live? Because we know she doesn't want to step foot in Britain again, and I know that she has, but I don't know if she'll be stepping foot in London anytime soon.
Well, I think you're spot on in her terms of her ambition, but I don't think, with due respect, she's known for a very long time that Harry didn't have the money that she would have liked him to have.
Before anybody starts feeling sorry for the man, stop. He was not a lamb walked to slaughter. He was a grown man with a title, an inheritance, and his pick of the country, and he knew what he was buying. That is not me being hard on him. It is Lady C, live on air, refusing the easy line when a host handed it to her on a plate. Poor Meghan got duped, the host said. Thought she was marrying a multi-billionaire and got a spare prince on an allowance. With due respect came the answer, and then she took it apart. Meghan had known for years that he did not have the money she wanted, and he had sold her a man far more powerful than he has ever been. Each of them was deceiving the other.
He also initially deceived her into thinking that he was more powerful than he was. And so each of them was deceiving the other, but she deceived him into thinking they could move to America and they could compete with William and Catherine. So William and Catherine would have Britain and the Commonwealth, they would have the rest of the world, and they would be the global royal couple, which of course hasn't happened because Meghan is as incompetent as Harry is in terms of finance.
Read that twice. Neither of them got conned. They both signed. They even had a plan, the pair of them. William and Catherine would take Britain and the Commonwealth. These two would take the whole of the rest of the world, the global royal couple, a 1,000-year-old family carved up over dinner by two people who cannot run a jam business between them. And when Lady C is asked who is to blame for what these two did to that family, she does not give the internet the answer it wants. Mostly Meghan, but with Harry's connivance, not weakness. Not a poor boy led astray by a wicked American. She has said something else more than once, and it lands harder still. A woman like that needs an enabler. She needs a man who wants exactly what she wants. He did not fall into this marriage. He put his hand up for it.
Yeah, it's not a sort of romantic, actually. It's gathering money, isn't it? It's nothing to do with romantic. I mean, if you remember, the Queen said to her cousin, the late Queen said to her cousin, I felt that Meghan didn't actually love him and didn't really care for him. That's what was what she said, and of course she's spot on. She just has used Harry as somebody she should tell what to do, and he's adored her. So these types of relationships don't go too well together, do they?
Never did two people more richly deserve penury, she said, than the two of them. Studies in treachery, both.
The way they have behaved and the way they have treated the people of this country, and their behavior has been just beyond belief.
Completely. I mean, they've actually been routinely dragging the royal family through hell.
I truly believe that when he met Meghan, she whispered into his ear, a 36-year-old mature woman whispered into his ear, Harry, you and I could change the world.
Meghan Markle knew that, and she manipulated him because of that. Then, when she got everything that she wanted, right?
So where does this end? A panel of royal watchers was asked exactly that in January, and not one of them hesitated. You wait, said one. She will dump him. She will drop Harry and move on and find herself somebody else, and it will be some kind of older, really rich man. Nobody at that table argued. Somebody added the line that sums up 2 houses and 100 million pounds of deals. It was never enough.
Meghan has got no real income anymore. She's finished.
Right.
The Netflix series is over. There's no great podcast. They don't generate any money. And I don't see where she is going from here. I think she has a major problem.
Now be clear about what this is. Nobody has filed for anything. There is no petition, and I am not about to invent one for a video. What there is Harry's own biographer, Diana's butler, a royal correspondent, and Lady Colin Campbell, all saying the same thing in the same year, and disagreeing only about when. Make of that what you will. And here's the bit that should keep him awake at 4 a.m.
If Harry were to separate, get divorced, he would be welcomed back by father and son like that. She would be the scapegoat, they'd blame her, and everything would be good. They want Harry.
That family never really had a problem with him. Donald Trump managed it in 4 words to a royal biographer. Oh boy, that wife of his. Billy Bush has covered these people for 20 years and put it harder. William cannot stand Meghan and cannot stand his brother for falling for her. Angela Levin, no friend of this marriage, still calls him a man who was entrapped.
And the English people, I mean, I was over there when the Queen died. I flew right away when I was working at Extra and covered that whole thing. And it was, the ascension of Charles was right after it. They were almost preparing for 2 things at once and loved all the British folk. Loved Harry. They still love Harry. They're mad at Harry, but forgiveness will be quick and swift. It's all her. And every person I chatted with in the street, I did tons of MOS. All their bitterness is directed at Meghan.
And listen to where Lady C puts the weight when she explains why they will not have him home. Everybody knows he is treacherous. Everybody knows he is unpredictable, and he is under the influence of what she called a rather massive malignant substance named Meghan Markle. The host cut in on the tape to say that is all alleged, and we don't know.
He is under the influence of various substances, as well as a rather massive malignant substance called Meghan Markle.
That's obviously all alleged. We don't know, but you're right. He has written in Spare that he loves to, he was smoking weed at Courtney Cox's house, and there were some magic mushrooms taking place. And we know that he's actually self-admitted to a pretty textured history with drugs.
Quite so. Every last one of them blames her. Every last one of them leaves his door open a crack. Lady C even has advice for him. Harry would be well advised to get out, she says, and the going is still just about possible. He will not take it. Walking back into England means telling his brother he was right, and he would sooner sit in that house in Montecito for another 10 years than say those words out loud. So he waits. And she shops, and everybody watching can see it. For pity's sake, the man has been outlived by his own usefulness. He wasn't the prize, he was the wrong.
And so I just find that you have to find a way to navigate almost evil-like mentality, because that's the kind of person I believe Meghan is, and she's brought Harry into that. I mean, he's come down so far since being with her. I mean, William really has to make a formal break. I am no longer associated with my brother. I love my mother and, wanting to still honor her memory, but at the same time, he has to be given, the leeway to not be in association with his brother and not try to demonize William.
Now tell me where you stand on this one. Was Harry a fool who got taken, or a grown man who read the deal, liked the look of it, and signed anyway? Straight into the comments. And do not go easy on him if you think he has not earned it. I read every single one. And do hit that like button. It helps this channel reach more people who care how this family really works. Subscribe as well. There is a great deal more coming this week. Next, the gala being planned for the 30th anniversary of his mother's passing, and the one name on that guest list that sent the Prince of Wales running for the hills. You will want to be here for that one.